Hello, and welcome.
This is Editor's Note number 87.
Adam.
What's up?
How are you doing, Adam?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I got to call out people in the Discord chat from before we started today, because you and I were just living our lives.
Yeah, we
getting
were
ready to start here.
Just going along.
And there in the chat, somebody asked the question.
Yes.
What is the Big Lebowski?
Right. Yeah.
And I like that's if you don't know, that's a fair question, right?
That's fine.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, as Dr. B mentioned, everyone in the server over a certain age dies, and right, we get it because that's us as well. But fair question if you don't know.
Sure.
Phantasma.
Yes.
Our favorite Phantasma out of all Phantasmas. This Phantasma definitely our favorite.
Number one. Yeah.
Yeah. But Phantasma responds immediately, the same minute, without thinking, without hesitating. Immediate response. A bowling movie.
Yeah. I can't recreate the face that I made when I read that.
Phantasma. Excuse me.
Which he says right now, I did this to be reductive and annoying. Well, mission accomplished. I know exactly what you were doing.
We know why you did this.
Yes.
I have never been so upset by about somebody being so correct. So just that's right, but
yeah, that was. I was like, do I jump into chat and
do what
and explain to the person that doesn't know? Or
no, it's a bowling movie.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. It definitely is.
Right. Also, a kid from Kansas now in response to this says, "I swear I'm almost 25," to indicate that like he's old enough or something. This only compounds my feeling of turning into dust and blowing away. 25, like I wasn't 25. I was older than 25 when we created Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was under 25 when I saw The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, that's fair. Me too. But that's also because of when it came out versus how old we were.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, just a minor existential dread of aging.
Or whatever.
How's everyone else doing?
Bowling.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. All right. Well, how are you? Other than that.
I'm good.
Good? Yeah. Productive week?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. No, if nothing else, this year has been very productive. I've gotten a lot done. I have been very nose to the grindstone, like to the point that this morning I was like, I have to report a podcast today. I also did record a podcast yesterday, and I was grumpy about it yesterday, and I was grumpy about it today, not because I don't like doing this or I don't want to be here. I do like doing this, and I do want to be here, but I am so in the mines on so many other things right now that I just want to stay in those mines.
Yeah.
I long for the mines, Adam.
I get you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, children long for the mines.
That's right. That's right. And I, as am the most childlike of us all, everyone knows. They think of me
heart
and
of a
childlike.
child.
Yeah. I have such a youthful energy. People tell me that. I'm so young for my age.
I read Worm Superior asks, what's your favorite meal of 2025 been so far? Your favorite meal that you've had? Oh, I know exactly what mine is.
Do it.
We had elk. We've got some elk.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
that's good.
Oh, man. And so then the follow-up meals from the elk were also really good because sliced them like really thin and put them in like a Parmesan pasta.
It does sound good.
Oh my God. It was so good. And like, I obviously can't afford to be putting elk in my pasta every day, but like not on a board game maker's salary.
No, right.
But if I could. No, elk is super, super good. It's like, what if steak was even better?
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, other questions from the chat? We're just starting out.
These are non-related to questions, so this is fine.
No, but this is fine. Our intro section here, where we do a little banter, is going to be a question section from the chat. We're starting out this way. Yeah. But as soon as this becomes anything serious or Sentinels questions or anything, it's over.
We're going back, yeah.
Yeah, so don't mess this up. Oh, I have to answer the favorite meal 2025. Adam.
Yes.
Adam, there's this app. I have a new app on my phone, and you know I don't want to apps on phones.
Right.
Like, that's not me.
I know. I have too many apps as it is.
Right. There's an app called Too Good. Too Good.
Yeah.
To Go. Togo.
Okay.
The point of this app, many restaurants, most restaurants, at the end of the day, have a bunch of food they have to throw away, right?
Yeah.
They just register on this app, and then you swing by and give them a very low amount of money, and they give you a bucket of all the food they were going to throw away.
Oh my God. Really?
Uh-huh. For $15, I got 20 pounds of bucket of Mediterranean food, rice and gyro meat and falafel, and just so much food. I could not spend this amount of money. I could not spend on the raw ingredients for this.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's phenomenal. And so what I did this, not this most recent weekend, but the weekend before that, as they're like, okay, I'll try this out. And it was like, oh, this works really well. So then I did it again, and I used that food, and I poured it into a bunch of Tupperware containers, and then closed those up and brought those into the office. And every day for lunch, I'm like, I'm eating cheap, delicious food. Like, oh, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It's really good. So anyway.
Yeah, I need to look into that.
Yeah, no, you do. It's good. Would you like a lot of food for cheap? Now, the trick is you can't pick. You don't get to be like, oh,
right.
I'd like this or that. No.
They
get
just
what
give
they
you
give
the
you.
stuff. Yeah.
They give you the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's all mixed together. And like the second time I picked it up, the lady was like, hey, I'm sorry. It's just kind of all a jumble in there. I'm like, I love a jumble. Like, it's fine. This isn't anything special.
You're precious about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You are giving me your trash, and I'm going to joyfully eat this trash. If you ever want an app to like really solidify the being a raccoon experience, this is the way to do it.
I'm not looking for that, but like I am looking for cheap food. So I don't know. That's something.
Adam.
Yes.
What movie? So from Fantisma in the whimsical chat, writes, what movies have you seen in theaters multiple times / the most times?
Yeah. Okay.
Movies
So I've seen a
theaters.
few movies in theaters many times.
I've seen each of the Lord of the Rings movies more than once in theaters, but less than 5 times.
I saw the first Lord of the Rings 8 times in theaters.
Wow! Congrats!
Spent 24 hours in the theater watching.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. The subsequent ones I only saw twice. I think. The one that I saw the most in theaters is the first X-Men movie, which I saw 3 times in theaters the first 3 days it was out, and
I think you and I saw it at least twice together in theaters.
Probably. But I saw that movie 15 times in theaters. I was very excited about X-Men, and it was mind-blowing that there was a superhero movie that existed of the X-Men.
Yeah.
So
I know we both saw Phantom Menace more than once in theaters.
Yeah, I think I only saw Phantom Menace like 5 times, though.
Yeah, I think I probably saw it 2 or 3 times, but I saw it more than once.
But so those are my 2 that I saw a bunch.
Oh, various MCU movies.
I don't think that I saw Avengers, the first one, twice.
Yeah, I know that I saw them more than once, but only because like I'd go with one set of friends, and another set of friends we're going to go see Infinity War. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, but by the time those were coming out, like that was my era of going to movies all the time and going to a lot of different movies. So like, I'm not going to see the same movie over and over if I'm trying to get through a bunch of movies. You know. Blalasadri says, "What's your favorite bowling movie besides The Big Lebowski?" I've only seen one bowling movie besides The Big Lebowski that I can think of, and that's Kingpin. And I don't love Kingpin. I think it's just fine, but like I guess that would technically be my favorite.
I have not seen Kingpin. I'm trying to think of a movie that bowling occurs in that I've seen. I don't know. I have no answer for this.
Yeah, that's the best I got.
The next question in the chat is about Sentinel Comics stuff.
You ruined it. We're done.
Yep. Way to go, Fantisma. Right down to brass tacks.
Right down to it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, upcoming schedule we got coming up.
Oh yeah, upcoming schedule.
We got to do that first. Boy, this is a bizarre set of episodes, actually.
Isn't it? Especially for the month of February.
Yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Is everyone okay?
All right. So, Adam, let me tell you about the voting.
Yes.
We had so many fun, whimsical, Valentine's-related topics. But no, I will say everything got lots of votes, and it was very, very close. There was a bunch of very, like, other than one episode, everything that didn't win was within 3 votes of winning.
What was the one no one wanted?
I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you off the air.
Oh,
I'm not going to. If I tell you on the air, it puts the thumb on the scales. If you know, because you're in the Discord and you can see this, then you know. You're not.
Okay.
You don't know.
But no one wanted it, so it's not going to go back in the voting.
This is not my belief system. Saying a thing out loud manifests it.
All right.
Okay. All right. So Tuesday, February 4th, episode number 308 is Writer's Room. K.N.Y.F.E can't just punch her way out of a situation.
All right. Tuesday, February 11th, episode 309.
Tuesday, episode
February. Yeah.
11th
through number 309.
Yeah.
Is Writer's Room Disparation, a modern hero in the golden age? All right. Okay.
All right. Tuesday, February 18th, something exciting. Probably don't expect it. Editor's note number 88.
Yeah. Curveball there. Yeah. And then Tuesday, February 25th is going to be episode 310, Creative Process, Other Scions of OblivAeon.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, that one had more than twice as many votes as the lowest. That one had the most votes by
really
a ton of votes.
Really?
Yeah. That one was immediately the leader of the pack and stayed there and only went up forever.
Okay. All right.
Like pretty much everybody who voted for that one and other things.
I wonder if people think that they're getting game content because of that.
Oh no. We're done making games.
If OblivAeon is even part of this new thing that we're doing.
Right. There's no OblivAeon.
We have no indication that there is or has been or will be an OblivAeon.
Yeah, correct. In the chat, Product Shadow says 115. Product Shadow says K.N.Y.F.E topic is definitely Valentine's related because she only does two things.
I feel like the spirit of the question means that she can't do that to get out of it either.
I think so too.
So she has to find a secret third option.
A secret third option. Brian says, I think you will find K.N.Y.F does a lot of things. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
And by things, I mean people. Brian.
we knew what you were saying. We knew. I got it.
Okay.
All right. Well,
anyway, enough of reading letters that are ridiculous from the chat. Let's read letters that are ridiculous from people who may or may not be in the chat.
And then we'll come back to the chat and read more of your
that's
ridiculous garbage that you're spewing at us.
Hey, it's not garbage. Garbage I spend $15 for and eat all week.
Thank you. All right, you're right. You're correct.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
All right, to begin, Peacock Talk writes, benevolence and bounty be blessed upon the both of you, A and C. Back again. I have beelined to you, beautiful bunch, with an itty-bitty batch of bids for your attention. Today's bounty is brought to you by the letter B. Did you know?
I did. I got the B.
Okay.
Yep.
Both because I'm betting I haven't badgered you both with this one before is a bit of a blur, but also by virtue of it beginning the business that builds this bulletin. Baggy of the post-OblivAeon brand. That's right. We're in a lingering OblivAeon letters section.
We will always be in this section.
Sometimes we skip it.
This is our life.
Yeah, that's right. Don't worry. We're going to have lingering OblivAeon letters right up until we make Definitive Edition OblivAeon, which we're not going to do. And then once we make Definitive Edition OblivAeon, hypothetically, it will answer every possible question, raising no more.
I feel like I'll be on my deathbed and I'll be like holding the hand of my loved one. And like
loved one, you have only one remaining when you're on your deathbed?
Yes.
Everyone else is gone, but you're like, I got one.
Yeah, I've alienated all the rest.
It's me, right?
Probably, yes. For this circumstance, yes, it is.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And then the doctor comes in and goes, before you die, I have one question. It's about OblivAeon.
Dr. B, cut it out. Let Adam
My
die in
doctor
peace,
is
Dr.
B?
That's right.
Oh, no.
Why is that? Oh, no. She's great.
Because I'm getting OblivAeon questions right up until the moment I die.
Yeah, that's Dr. B for you. She's going to be there for it.
All right.
That's why she's called Dr. B. She's going to
Dr. B
be there.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we're reformed today. Okay.
Okay, anyway, backpedal. You've not shied away from hinting that a universe without connection to the multiverse is in some degree of trouble. But how does that relate to the business of decisions of Sentinel Comics publishing? They went through a lot of work to simplify the multiverse down, and the multiverse potential the Vertex presented ended poorly. So why suggest to the main stories that the multiverse is something to return to? We've suggested no such thing. Did they ever have a period of nixing stories that suggested it, or were they, in fact, always willing to entertain the impermanence of the singular universe for the sake of storytelling? Here's the thing. It's not so much that they were going to be like, oh no, we definitely won't return to a multiverse, nor, oh man, we're going to return to the multiverse. It's that they're like, yeah, we're simplifying everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And within a year of simplifying everything down, there's already going to be story creep. There's already going to be writers who are like, oh, well, what'd be really cool is to hint at this other thing and to like pull threads for this other thing. Like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't take long to get complex again.
Yeah, it's going to happen. There's nothing to be done about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, I am sure that there was an editorial.
I'd be surprised if it lasted a year. Yeah, that's
right. No, we're going to keep it just to this, and we're definitely not going to. There's nothing outside. It's just a thing. And someone's like, well, here's why there's nothing outside. It's actually there is outside. We just can't get to it, which implies concern, right? So, like, there's no way it's not happening.
Yeah.
The letter continues, bottlenecked. From what I understand, time travel isn't really happening in Universe 1 post-Oblivion due to the baggie. But I don't get why. Is it because there can be no branches? You've stated there isn't a universe for every single mundane choice. Each universe has a broad and big difference from the others. Mm-hmm. So it follows that not every point on a timeline, if changed, would actually branch out to another universe. Feasibly, someone with the means to do some true time travel, not universe hop, avoid possible trigger points, and not do anything to cause a new timeline, right? You say right as if like this is a foregone conclusion. What do you mean by someone with the ability to do true time travel?
Who has true time travel? I think we've used it like once or twice, but like...
Yeah, and that's all pre-Oblivion.
I don't think anyone has it. Yeah, I don't think anyone has that.
Or, the letter continues, if it's because the baggie cuts everyone off from the only known means of time travel, the shattered timelines, that would imply that no singular entities could time travel before Oblivion broke things. What? No, it doesn't. It doesn't imply that. Singular entities exist not just outside physical space, but also outside time. Like, singular entities aren't even traveling through time the way that we are, which is to say, forward at 1x speed.
Right. Yeah, they experience things completely different in a way that we can't relate to you because your human brain can't understand it. Ours can because we're above that, and we know, different. We're built different. Yeah. But like, I can't explain it to another human.
No, that's obviously not.
Beyond thy ken.
Is that the case? Have I missed something? Am I barking up the wrong across flora? Okay. How to even answer this question?
No, there's no time travel inside the sandwich bag.
Yeah.
There's no branching universes. There's no time travel. It is all
there's no dimension hopping.
It's all like a really neatly contained.
Hypothetically speaking, if someone could true time travel in the sandwich bag, then they could do that.
Hypothetically.
But no one can true time travel.
Right.
Until they can, and we do that story.
Yeah.
Which hasn't happened yet.
Correct.
Great. Bye-bye and all the best, the blithe and babbling Peacock Talk.
Thank you, Peacock Talk. I have a letter from Harmonic, who writes, good day to you, writers. It is I, the Bard in Blue. I am pleased to report that I managed to barely survive my duel with Rose Queen. Okay. To summarize events, we fought, I won, it changed into its true form, but it took 2 armies to take the abomination down before it destroyed this reality. Strangely enough, eyewitnesses have told me after I blasted a hole through it, the Rose Queen left some kind of cosmic shard behind. This brings me to my questions, as I've long been wondering about a certain type of dimensional energy. OblivAeon has left behind shards scattered around the multiverse, humming with destructive potential.
Oh.
My first question is, if this energy was somehow reversed to act as a force of creation, could a hero restore a destroyed timeline or a deleted character? If so, how much of OblivAeon would they need to pull it off? Okay. Could someone use OblivAeon energy to restore something that was completely destroyed?
What do you mean completely destroyed?
So like in the instance... So, like, for the purposes of this, like, 2 merged timelines that were obliterated entirely.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're
gone.
You could potentially, if you had enough power, you could create a timeline that looks and acts like it.
Yep, but it's not the same one.
No, what's gone is
Here's
gone.
the thing. Using a bunch of energy to destroy a thing, pretty easy comparatively at this scale.
Yeah.
Using a bunch of energy to create a thing, not as easy.
Right.
but possible. Using this energy to restore a completely obliterated thing, in many cases not possible. In most cases, almost impossible. Like, but using a bunch of energy to destroy, that's the easy way out.
Yeah, it's way easier to destroy than create.
Yeah. Speaking as people who spend a lot of time creating and very little time destroying.
Well, let's speak for yourself.
I am. I
destroy a lot.
Yeah, but I said I'm speaking as for people who are doing this thing, and I am people who are doing this thing.
Okay.
I contain multitudes.
All right, wow.
I had a big breakfast.
My second question relates to the Scions. I'm assuming that each Scion is invested and corrupted with OblivAeon's own power. If the destroyer of the multiverse was backed into a metaphorical corner, could he consume his own Scions to restore his vitality?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he could do that.
Yeah. Why not? I do appreciate that. Let's say, hypothetically, Adam, you and I were starting to come to a beginning of the end of the lingering Oblivion questions.
Yeah.
The upcoming episode that we're about to do about other Scions of Oblivion will ruin that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going to ruin it.
We're just going to re-up it forever.
We're just going to keep ruining our own lives.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call making us have infinite job stability here ruining our lives.
Well, I mean, it depends. Are people going to be asking me these questions on my deathbed?
Does that ruin your life if they do?
If that's the last thing I hear, then it would ruin my life.
If Dr. B comes into your room while I'm holding your hand and you're dying and asks you a lingering Oblivion question, I will immediately jump up and sing a song.
Great.
Unrelated. I'll just sing some song. Do you have a request?
No, I don't know. Dealer's choice.
Kickstart My Heart?
Sure. Yeah, that's great. Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go out with that.
You have to do the guitar parts too.
Hey! How? You know I'm going to do the guitar parts. Are you kidding?
Okay.
I'm going to spend more time on that than I'm going to do on the song. Let's be real.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent. Okay. My final question involves the fabled sandwich barrier. Since the defense that Voss put in place is made of destructive energy, is it currently eating away at all of the neighboring realities to Universe 1? I don't think so. No. And like, really, the energy being destructive energy is not, it's not inherently destructive. Like, it's kind of just energy. People use Oblivion shards in non-destructive ways.
Yeah, that's right. The defense that Voss put into place is not made of destructive energy. It is made of energy.
Yeah.
That energy, if not harnessed properly, is inherently destructive, but it's not destructive energy.
Right.
Like it's just like if like fire is energy, right?
Yeah.
Fire is not destructive energy, but it is energy that will burn. It burns a fuel source.
Yeah, that might be a bad example because
it's a bad example.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it is energy that can be destructive to many things. But if the energy is harnessed and used for a thing, it's not necessarily the purpose of that energy is not destructive. It is just the consequence of that energy is destructive.
Yeah. It's more like if I have a big stick, I can use it for multiple reasons. It's only destructive if I hit someone with it.
I wish we had a food analogy.
I know. I was trying to think about calories and using but
anyway, the answer to the question is no. The sandwich bag.
If I had a bagel, and I hit someone.
The sandwich bag is not acidic. It's not burning away the slices of bread that are touching the sandwich bag.
Right.
It's just a piece
it's
of
just
bag.
Plastic. Yeah.
It's just plastic. Plastic can be destructive.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic, like if you have a bunch of plastic in the ocean, seems bad. But plastic wrapping up a piece of bread in a sandwich bag, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, as always, for your time and wisdom. I will remain in this reality and use my magic to help rebuild for a time. Then I go hunting. The deleter's still out there, after all. Farewell, writers. Harmonic. Thank you. Thank you, Harmonic.
All right. Garg writes, hey, CNA, it's your favorite topic, lingering Oblivion questions. I recently realized there was practically no mention of Omnitron U in the context of the Oblivion event. I realized this event was already bursting at the seams with individual and group moments of cool, so maybe it's asking too much. But I was curious if he played a part in the event or if his role was largely fulfilled by shutting down Omnitron 4, ostensibly the offspring/incarnation of a Scion. Thanks, Garg. Well, so there's the Omnitron 4 certainly is a big lead up to OblivAeon, Omnitron U's story. Omnitron U has a really big, important story right before OblivAeon, and then Omnitron U is definitely around for OblivAeon, but I agree we don't have and then there was a big story beat where Omnitron U saved the day and defeated Wager Master. That wouldn't actually save the day in this case.
Yeah, Hero Omnitron is a supporting character.
Yeah, an important one.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a mistake that we haven't specifically told you the awesome hero beat for Omnitron U in OblivAeon. I think that Omnitron U is around. We know that Omnitron U is helping Unity with stuff in that era. But other than that, I don't think we have a specific moment.
No. Tireless Dynamo writes, hello once again, Overlords of the... I don't know how to read that other than Overlords.
No, you did it. You nailed it.
Of the multiverse, Christopher and Adam. I've been listening through the letters page again, and in the Iron Legacy timeline episode, you mentioned that the parse of the Iron Legacy universe is implied to have got her powers from an OblivAeon shard, since the Cosmic Omnitron event didn't happen in that universe. This is a sort of ancillary question that this made me think of. We know that damage to other singular entities doesn't necessarily create shards, but does create essences of power that can imbue others, since that's how Guy's got his Wager Master imbued powers. Are any of the OblivAeon shards shown or implied in Disparation potentially from OblivAeon and damage caused in the battle between OblivAeon and Archaon? Or would any essences of power created in that fight not have been shards, or been shards, just not OblivAeon shards? Oh boy. Thank you for your answers and all the lore in the multiverse, defender of the multiverse, the tireless Dynamo. Okay. Yeah. Are there Oblivion or Archaon shards?
Right.
And I think no.
No, I think that there are OblivAeon shards because OblivAeon is already doing a weird bad thing with power, and the result of that is these chips of OblivAeon's power that have ongoing consequences. But that's not, we don't have that going all the way back to the OblivAeon and Archaon fight.
Right. And we also mentioned that because of the nature of OblivAeon and time, that the OblivAeon shards in the past come from the fight in the future.
Right.
That they get knocked into the past.
Right. Because he's singular. So it could be anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One last question, and then we will go to the chat. And then we have a ridiculous set of questions of letters that were written in. I will explain when we get there. But first, a letter from Corwin Texley. Corwin Texley writes, hello, Christopher and Adam. I come with questions about the sandwich bag around Universe 1. I don't like the way that was phrased. First, some baseline facts. Fact the first, OblivAeon shards tend to cause things around them to be destroyed. This is because OblivAeon is an entity of pure destruction, and every aspect of his being is bent toward it. Wow. I agree with the first half of that, but the second half, that this is because OblivAeon is an entity of pure destruction?
No, I mean, OblivAeon is the fusion of Oblivion and Archaon.
Right.
So,
it can't be an entity of pure anything. It's already a dual entity.
Right.
Entropy tends to be the main thing we talk about with OblivAeon, which is destruction, but it's not just destruction. Anyway, but the fact of OblivAeon shards tend to cause things around them to be destroyed, sure, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they tend to cause things around them to be destroyed.
They tend to change things around them.
They change things, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the same
same question.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Because fact B, the sandwich bag is constructed of Oblivion energy, and OblivAeon simply manipulated into that structure. I'm sure you see where this is going. A sandwich bag corroding fundamental aspects of reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. How fast this process is Void Guard to protect this? As a follow-up question, does trying to access another timeline allow Oblivion energy to leak into reality? Does this only happen to a sufficiently powerful attempt? Would it be possible to close such a breach? Okay, so the first half we've already talked about. No, the sandwich bag isn't destructive.
I don't think trying to access another timeline does anything. I don't you just get a 404.
Yeah. So if you were able to access another timeline by punching a hole through the sandwich bag would be ruptured. The sandwich bag is a sandwich bag in outer space. Inside, you're fine. The tiny thin shell of the sandwich bag could be super tiny thin plastic or mile thick steel.
Yeah.
Either way, tiny hole through it, that's that.
Yeah. If open, then open.
If open, then open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandwich bag doesn't open a little.
Right.
Binary state.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have to see what would happen in such an instance.
It's not going to happen, so it's entirely academic.
I know, that's pretty ridiculous that something like that could even conceive of being occurred.
Conceived of, I couldn't agree more with your words or the way you use them.
Look, man, I draw pictures.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you just looked at pictures.
Well, I draw them sometimes.
You look at pictures all the time.
I look at them all the time, yes.
Always looking at pictures.
Always be looking at pictures. Sometimes be drawing.
A lap.
Yep.
Always looking at pictures.
Yep, Yep. Okay, let's go to the chat.
Let's go to the chat. All right, so...
All right, Fantisma asks, in episode 222, Writers from Freedom 5, number 293, you described a story of Amelia Twain not being evil and just being kidnapped. My question is, what are some ways to avoid dry skin during the winter for someone who doesn't love the feel of lotion on their arms and legs? This is the greatest troll.
Is it? It's a very good troll.
Oh, jeez.
Had you not read this letter yet?
No, I didn't read it. I just read the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Well, we're moving on because that's official stuff.
Right. That's why he did it.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
If you don't love the feel of lotion on your arms and legs, a way that, like for me, I don't really get dry skin, and I think part of it is I don't take super hot showers. I take pretty cool showers, even in the wintertime. It doesn't matter
with my water because I have the hardest water. And
oh, nice. You like that? You want real hard water? No.
No. Yeah. So like it gets really bad. My skin gets really dry. My suggestion is find a better lotion.
If you don't like any lotion, so like I feel the same way. I don't care for lotion. I don't like feeling greasy. And
if you feel greasy, it's a bad lotion.
But like I've tried like fancy good ones too. I don't like the feeling of having especially like smooth skin. I want some friction texture to my skin.
Yeah. I mean, I use Lubriderm and it melts away and it's gone. Like,
all right.
And
try it out.
That was recommended to me by my tattoo guy for that. And
there you go. That's skincare routine. Tango writes, hi, I actually have a question mostly for Christopher this time. You've mentioned before that you compile the questions for each episode from the submission form, and I realized something when listening to the last episode. Sometimes you seem to know exactly what the letter's going to say, telling Adam to just wait and that sort of thing. But other times you react as if you're surprised by the direction of the letter. My question is, how much do you proofread the letters? Do you do a cursory read to make sure it's appropriate and throw it on a list? A full read and then just some letters get forgotten by the time it's due to the episode? Yeah, so I full read every single letter that comes in. But frequently I full read letters notably in advance because there'll be times in which I'll go through and catch up on the backlog of letters and sort things into the episodes. And so I've full read every letter at least once, but some letters I've full read in the past. Not the day that we're recording. And so I might remember at the time. And the other thing, like what happened today when we had two letters that had the same question in a row, I read both those letters in the past. I sorted them for this episode. Mm-hmm. I sorted them into this will go in this episode in the Lingering Oblivion section. I put them into the section. And then when we read them, I'm like, you see, having read those two episodes in a vacuum, those are the two letters rather in a vacuum, those two letters both belong in this episode. Next to each other, it's like, oh, I could have cut one of them. Yeah. Well, no worries.
No, I'm done.
That's how it goes. But yeah, I do full read. And in terms of proofreading, if there are like silly fun typos where you're clearly typing in a certain way, I try to fix. I try to leave those in because you're like, oh, you're doing a bit.
Yeah.
But misspellings and like weird phrasing and things like that, I do try to clean up just for the sake of. I assume what your intent.
We have to.
And I want to make sure.
Right,
because reading a thing out loud is very different than typing it for writing purposes. Yeah.
Banana Addled Guys writes, how many times have you said first time all year or haven't done blank all year jokes and did you immediately regret it? I don't make those jokes. I don't do the see you next years. I don't do that. I'm over it.
In the last month, between the see you next year's things at the end of last year and the first time all year at the beginning of this year, I have done it easily over 100 times.
Wow.
Never once have I regretted it.
Yeah,
I revel in it. I enjoy it. And I mostly enjoy how much pain it brings to those around me. People are like, I'm like, yes, give me your us.
Yeah. So like, it's not, that's like the quintessential dad joke.
Yeah.
It's like that one. And they just let anyone in here.
Hi, I'm something, I'm dad.
Which I will use that with my kids, but like, but like, yeah. So like that's what makes them not just puns and makes them dad jokes is that they're used over and over and over.
Well, they're also not puns. There's no wordplay.
Yeah.
They're not puns.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not puns. They're dumb jokes. Yes. They're not puns.
Yeah. You're right.
Puns have an amount of like wordplay cleverness to them. This is not that, yo.
No, they're just dumb jokes. Yeah.
It's just dumb jokes.
And that's what makes them not just dumb jokes is how overused they are. And like, I can't stand overusing anything. Actually, I don't like overusing songs. I don't like overusing movie quotes. I don't like overusing, like, I just go like, okay, yeah, I get it. I've heard it. I heard you the first time. Everyone heard this joke the first time. Everyone's made this joke since time immemorial. You're not clever for saying it. That's how I feel about all that. But
all right. Fantisma writes, actual real question for GTG Christopher. That's me. Did I submit the equity versus visionary topic? I'm like 44% sure I did, but I can't remember, and I've been taking credit for it. Fantisma, you did submit the equity versus visionary topic.
Oh. Wow.
It did not make it into the vote. It did not. It got a lot of votes, but it had the second least votes of everything this month.
Second least. At least it's not the least one.
Nope. The least one is delightful, though.
The least one's the bad one that should be shamed.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Blah the Sadri asks, what was your least favorite bit of banter you engaged in recently? For any definition of recently you choose. Least favorite bit?
Least favorite bit. Like a bit that we've done, like a banter bit that we've done. I just don't remember them. I don't keep them.
I don't know. I don't keep a catalog.
You do the banter bit and then you throw it away.
And then you move on.
And sometimes people like bring them back up again and you're like, that was a good one or not. But you've got to
the good ones will stick with you, but like that's the nature of bits is like you go through them a bunch.
You just throw it all away.
And sometimes you'll recycle things and that's fine.
And sometimes you'll end up realizing you're starting in a bit and you do the same thing and then we're like, we've done this before.
We've done this bit before. Yeah, I know where this is going. Okay.
Right. Great. Apostate's snowplow driver, okay, writes, on behalf of dear divine majesty Faust, as we all know by this point, Degenerate hates the man. However, beyond trying to degenerate the system, I'm wondering if she participates in other activities that anarchists will participate in among the communities, or if she's too short-sighted. Has she ever helped out with her local community garden? Does she assist her community in pooling together resources if someone needs to pay their medical bills? Does she help kids with their education when they need it, or is she simply too short-sighted to do such things? Yeah, unfortunately, she's not the sort of anarchist. It's like, we don't need the government. We can just do this ourselves. We can just be like
she's like a high school anarchist that's just like,
she's like
just means
I want to burn it
out.
all down.
Yeah.
She remember, important character note. She is a villain. She is a villain version of an anarchist, and she is a like short-sighted is definitely the right word for her. Yeah. She is short-sighted, intemperate, not considerate in a lot of ways. A lot of uses of the word considerate character. So unfortunately, she is not doing cool, helpful anarchy type stuff. She gets some of the message of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, but only the most surface, like, yeah, we don't need no education. And it's like, You stopped there, huh? It's like, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's just like there are people that are anarchists for like an excuse to destroy things, and that's who she is.
Yeah.
Project Shadow 115 writes, what was the metaverse response to Bloodless Wraith? Did any Bloodless Wraith merch make it to Hot Topic? I don't think that there's Bloodless Wraith is so short-lived. I
disagree. I think that Bloodless Wraith definitely would have made it to Hot Topics and be that sort of thing, because Bloodless Wraith was about a year And that's enough time. That's way enough time for this sort of thing.
Because this predates Hot Topic.
Does it? What?
1996 is when the first Hot Topic was.
Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised though if Bloodless Wraith was like, oh yeah, we still remember the time that Wraith had powers, and we use like.
I don't know that it was that popular because it was only a year, and like I don't think that I think that most people are like, this isn't what I like about Wraith. We like the gadgets Wraith.
Yeah, because it is September of '88 through February of '89. It's not even a full year.
Yeah, it's very, very short.
Yeah, it's 8 months.
It's not like the closest like equivalent that I would think of is like a Black Costume Spider-Man, but like that's substantially changed the character for many years and lasted for years, and like it was like a whole thing. Like so I don't think Bloodless Wraith had a major cultural impact on the character.
I think there's some holdouts, but I agree it's certainly not a major culture. I think there's some people that are like, Bloodless Wraith was the best she's ever been, and most people are like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, most people don't even remember it.
All right. Okay. Next one we have here is from Davriel, student of knowledge, who writes, it's now 2025. What?
It is.
What comic lines do the publisher Sentinel Comics currently have running that we in the metaverse are aware of? Which lines do we know are starting up this year to get hype for?
I don't think we have. Oh, we do. We have that out to 2025?
Yeah, I do. It's not complete.
Yeah, I mean, because we also don't know like what books get canceled, but like if anything.
Well, I mean, I know that Threads of Fate, The Roulette, and Visitors are all over. For Profit and Discordia are still going. Oh, there's 2 books that start here, but those. Anyway, this is not. We haven't built it out that far specifically. Plus, I mean, we do have a lot that we have built out that far. This isn't the purview of what we're doing right now. We still have so much work to do on the past and the near past before we can talk about the present.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer about that.
Yeah, every answer that I have here is incomplete in a way that is not satisfying.
Yeah. Pardon our dust. Apostate Snowplow Driver writes, will Christopher be the loved one at Adam's deathbed? Will Christopher have already died due to cave and spine-related injuries? Will he have been transferred into a computer so he can't be at any bedside anymore? Or does he miss Adam's death to go rock climbing and or spelunking?
Okay, so we can answer these questions. These are all facts that we know. I will be the loved one at his deathbed.
Yes.
I won't have already died due to cave and spine-related injuries. I will have more cave and spine-related injuries, but then I'll just somehow survive them weirdly and with
I think that this goes to answer it. You will have transferred your consciousness into a computer, but
so that I can be at your deathbed.
Set that at the deathbed, and also you can upload into a robot at will, which can go spelunking and rock climbing. So you're actually rock climbing and spelunking at the same time that you're at my deathbed.
That's the one thing you've said so far that I disagree with, Adam.
Oh, okay. Your focus is here.
That's right.
Okay.
When usually I am spelunking and rock climbing and doing all the things I'm doing because I'm all the different robots, right? But at the moment at your deathbed, I'm doing nothing but that.
Wow. A real one.
Based. Zafriel, student of knowledge, says, it's 2025. How are the great comic book creators Christopher Bedell and Adam Rebataro of the Metaverse doing?
Spelled wrong on purpose.
Well, yeah. I'm guessing.
They're doing great.
They're doing great. They're doing great. They're rock climbing and spelunking.
Rex Steelskin writes, if time travel doesn't exist in the sandwich bag, what is it the time slinger is doing?
Slowing down and speeding up time.
Yeah.
He's traveling time like the rest of us are at 1x speed, and then he can do things where he can make little pockets that go at like 1.2x and 0.8x, but it still rubber bands back to 1x by the end of it.
Yep.
OblivAeon, Brian writes, is actually 2 singular entities that were jammed together into each other, but the 2 beings that gave Oblivi, as his friends call him, his energy were opposites. Did this fusion require those powers to be related in some way, or could you have Wager Master and any given singular entity merged under similar circumstances? Sidebar, Adam, if you don't eat the 400 trees, you can never have a deathbed for Dr. B to ask you lingering questions. It's true. Just don't eat the 400 trees and you'll live forever. But you don't really want to live forever, do you?
Well, no, I need to eat the 400 trees.
You got to eat the 400 trees.
You have to.
Yeah. See, that's an example of a bit that we did not plan or have any plans for it, and it has come back, and they're like, okay, eat the 400 trees
there you
bit.
Go. I love
somehow
the 400
enduring.
Trees bit, though.
Yeah.
I don't think that any two singular entities could just merge. No.
When you say in similar circumstances, it's like, yeah, but those circumstances are pretty unique.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing is, like, you're kind of asking for science applied to a cosmology, like, and
yeah, I think that's a fair question to ask. I just don't know that we have a specific answer. It is hypothetically possible that any two singular entities could somehow merge. However, the happenstance is quite high, the likelihood is quite low, and the outcome is most likely just destruction of one or both of them.
Yeah.
So then merging is possible, but in a more thought experiment way rather than a practicality way.
Pasta Snowplow Driver says, is it that you'll be asked OblivAeon questions until the day you die, or is it that you won't die until you answer all of them? No, we will die with them unanswered.
Correct.
Yeah.
Real Student of Knowledge says, are the tireless Dynamo and the Dynamo from Sentinel Comics Live the same person behind the characters, or is that just a coincidence? I am like 92% certain that it is a coincidence.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they have anything. It's a coincidence, I'm pretty sure.
Right. I don't believe that tireless Dynamo is Craig.
Right. No, I don't think so.
Right.
Actually, I do. Phantisma writes, actually, I do want to ask them this. Doesn't Omnitron X/U have his own title in Time and Time Again from 2011 to 2017, moving him a little out of supporting cast?
Yes, but no. Time and Time Again is a book that is an Omnitron U book, but it's not solely Omnitron U. We have other things in it. It's a book about time travel stuff in general. It's mostly stuff in canon as opposed to Disparation. It frequently involves Chrono Ranger, La Capitan, Dark Visionary, /Visionary, and even a little Omnitron X and later Omnitron U is the brief on the book. And so Omnitron X/U has appearances in Time and Time Again, but it's not his headline book.
Right.
So it's mostly, this is a book about time travel. It's where you get the Time for a Mutiny story. It's where we get, there's a lot of La Comodoro stuff in here. Bit of Chrono Ranger. There is an Omnitron X story in it in issue 50. This is the issue where Omnitron X, the one who dies at the end of Singularity, meets Omnitron U. X is having the crisis of self-preservation and is considering not facing Omnitron in order to preserve Omnitron X. And Omnitron U is like, actually, you have to do this in order for this future to happen. Like, I am the most free and hero and thinking and person version of Omnitron, and I'm only possible because of your sacrifice, which is a thing that we discussed briefly in. Does it feel like we talked about that recently? Because I think of that as like, I think I remember talking about that. That was somewhat recent.
No, that doesn't feel recent at all.
Not at all?
No, it feels like a long time ago.
It wasn't a thing that we told in a whole episode. It was a thing that we like briefly talked about in the side in an episode. But
oh yeah, it feels like we haven't talked about that for a long time. But
episode 209.
Yeah, I mean that tracks.
I feel like we talked about that like a few months ago.
No, that was definitely years ago.
Boy, I remember it like it was yesterday. Moritz writes, given that Meredith Stinson only became Tachyon after the Shrieker had faded in the background, why did Aislinn Allen frame Dana Bertrand for the murder of Melissa Morris? Is there some connection I'm missing, or was it Baron Blade's idea? No, she's mad that Tachyon took her spot in the Freedom 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Rakunu writes, without providing any further context, does the Zhulong in the main timeline have an orrery like the dragon in the Inversiverse?
Oh, you remember the Dragon's Inversiverse?
Yeah. That he's got the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, Zhulong has many orrery-like things in many different places. All right, last thing before we go back to the chat, Adam. Look at the screenshot of you at 11:45.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
That's a good one. Just look at your face.
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's really good.
All right. I'm
gonna save that one.
You're saving that for yourself?
Yeah.
For future purposes?
Yep.
I like that it has your name out of the corner in case you're like, who is this person who looks so displeased? Yeah. It's Adam.
Yep.
Bart KF writes, Hidden Blades art shows the operative with a knife, and its flavor text has Zhulong instructing someone, her, on using a knife, preferably to a sword. The quote is from Mystery Comics Volume 2, number 243. I can agree with everything you've said here. Great comment, great note. Oh, it goes on. But Unbreakable Bargain in the Temple of Zhulong's deck quotes Zhulong informing the chairman that he's taken the operative, and the quote is from Mystery Comics Volume 2, issue 289. If the quote is on Hidden Blade, in the words of a Zhulong who wouldn't abduct Sophia for another 40 plus issues, is he not actually speaking to her and the art and the text are deliberately mismatched, or is there an error somewhere? No, this one I know.
Oh, you do offhand?
Yeah. I'm going to go look up the issues because I have notes on the issues in the spreadsheet, but I remember what this is about, and this was a bit of intentional misdirection that you and I pulled.
Nice.
Do you remember the past when we talked about all this stuff? This was months after we finished, like a single digit number of months after we finished everything from core game of Sentinels and Multiverse, and we're working on Rook City Renegades. And I'm like, oh, what if we do this? What if we make this note in Rook City Renegades? So Mystery Comics 289 is the retrospective Death of Mr. Fixer, which is at the end where we have that moment with the operative and Zhulong. Great. But, okay, so in this issue, this is an issue about organization stuff and about Zhulong. And by this issue, I mean, sorry, to be clear, Mystery Comics Volume 2, Issue 243, in November of 1993. But this issue is about the chairman. The bulk of the issue is the chairman telling the operative about Zhulong. And we get these little vignettes of snippets of things of Zhulong doing stuff and Zhulong's agents doing stuff. And the storytelling device of this is the chairman as narrator to Zhulong, and the chairman sometimes getting things right about, like, he's scary and he's dangerous, blah, blah, blah. But also saying, like, but I think it's a lot of it's just like mysticism nonsense and he doesn't have the power he claims to. But then we see that those words over shots of Zhulong absolutely having the power that he claims to. And operative being like, oh yeah, I am, because this is the instance of operative learning from her master, the chairman, before later, this foreshadowing by many years, her later having a new master who is Zhulong. Anyway, at the end of this issue, Zhulong himself shows up and is like, hey, the chairman, you and I have some business. And Zhulong takes a moment on his way out to stop, talk to the operative, be like, I know who you are. I'm aware of what you're doing. You've gotten my interest.
Keep it up.
You've gotten my interest. And also, here is a knife. And let me give you some words about a knife. You are like a knife. And then the operative becomes Paige Huntley.
Yeah, that's the true story of what happens and nothing else. Okay. Back to letters, and then we'll come back to the chat. So what's going on with this letter section that you've said that there's something weird about it?
Adam, this next section of letters is all from the same letter writer.
Okay.
Who is in the process of going through and listening to all the episodes.
Okay.
And we get letters occasionally from this letter writer, and I'll let them speak for themselves, except for two things. One, we read one letter from this letter writer a couple weeks ago. I don't remember specifically when, but this letter writer is Smart Thinker. And we got a letter writer there. And in Smart Thinker's letter, they said something about, like, read this part on the air, read this part off the air, and we intentionally said, like, we're not gonna dox you. We're just gonna read the letter and all good. But the important thing for you to know,
is
this person is tearing through the issue, the back episodes, right? Every single one of these letters is from within the last week.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first letter from Smart Thinker is, hi, Christopher and Adam. Thank you so much for not doxing me during my first letter. You're welcome. I'm in episode 297 now, and this letter intercepted by Biomancer. Wanted to laugh at you fools for trying to oppose my brilliant master. He will be ready to issue his challenges to the both of you in person at Gen Con. See you then. I took this letter back from my idiot clone. Okay. All right. Good job. Get ready for my over 90 questions in multiple letters in a very unique format when I'm all caught up. Smart Thinker and Duplicitous. P.S. You are right. I hadn't heard of Definitive Edition, and I now have it. I think that I like them about the same because the Definitive Edition has less heroes, villains, and environments, but that will change very soon with Disparation.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right, I've got a letter from Smart Thinker who says, hi, Christopher and Adam. I wanted to talk about gremlins. First, I think the Grimlord is a she. Second, I think the Grimlord magic is familial and each family has its own specialty, with female magic being dominant. Thirdly, I think that Grandma Royalty's specialty is always dominant and that their magic is much less effective, but they're extremely resistant to magic and physical harm, as well as being stronger. Thirdly, again, a second thirdly, I have some myths. I've heard some myths about goblins getting powers from secrets, and I think that they should be similar to gremlins with the secrets they know empowering their magic by the very act of them keeping them secret. Thank you, Smart Thinker 2024.
Okay. Was there a question? There was not.
I think it's great.
All right.
No notes. Great letter.
Yeah.
Thank you for your thoughts about
enjoy your
gremlins.
headcanon.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a group of gremlins that are somewhat like that somewhere
Sure.
in the multiverse.
Smart Thinker writes, Christopher and Adam, I'm writing a weird idea. Would it be interesting if a new Death Fiend came about in the RPG that was an actual demon from Eternus who is the soul of the first Death Fiend, sort of like Smob Nixilis from Schmagic the Schmathering is what, yeah, okay.
Great.
Okay. Yeah. Or perhaps it could be the soul of the first Death Fiend returned from Eternus. Perhaps a Prince of Eternus is the creature that inspired the urban legend of Death Fiend. Or if not that, maybe it was some other creature that Chrono Ranger killed. Thank you, Smart Thinker. P.S. I'm on episode 303. The
Adam,
Chrono Ranger is like a...
or it's from Chrono Ranger.
Or
Here's the thing. This letter and the previous letter, the ones about the gremlins, are the most letter in the back of a comic book letters page letters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just nailed it.
Yes. Yeah.
Just absolutely nailed it. Like, I don't know that I have any response to this other than, yeah, cool.
Thanks for your letter.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, that is, definitely.
Sure. There's a Death Fiend.
Keep it up and you could have a job with Sentinel Comics in the future.
I really like here that there's that. What if Death Fiend is an actual demon from Eternus that's the soul of the first Death Fiend, or perhaps it could be the soul of the first Death Fiend from Eternus, or Chrono Ranger killed it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep. The Sentinel Comics bullpen is always hard at work with ideas just like yours.
I have a letter from Smart Thinker who writes, Christopher and Adam, by the time you read this, I will be all caught up with the podcast.
Great.
This is a busy week, man.
Smart Thinker writes, hi, CNA. I'm wondering if you could talk about how to demo a game with you at Gen Con. I could not find a process on your website, and it would be nice if you could spell it out on your podcast. Thanks, Smart Thinker.
This journey, this is why I was so excited for these letters.
Yeah.
This journey of a week's time in which we listen to the backlog of the letters page. We ask a couple of questions about gremlins and Death Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
Announce that we're caught up, and then be like, how do I demo games for you at Gen Con? I'm very excited about this arc.
Yeah. Wow.
Smart Thinker, you have lived up to your name. Now, I don't have a lot of really useful words about how to demo for us at Gen Con because I've never gone through the process of applying to demo for us at Gen Con. I always just get like forced into it. It's very rude.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, but I can tell you how to do it because I asked Tawana earlier because I was like, wait a minute, Tawana, I need to be able to answer this question on the air.
You just send an email to a person?
That's correct.
Yeah.
You send an email to the email address, demoteam, DEMOTEAM, no spaces, no punctuation, demoteam @flatrivergroup.com.
It's the same email for the demolition team.
Yeah.
I know it's a little confusing.
Right.
But
So if you want to be
put a
on the
subject line.
demonstrator team,
Yeah.
the demolition team, or the team that demotes people, those are three teams. They all have the same email address, demoteam@flatrivergroup.com.
Yeah.
And Tawana will get that email. And there you go. That's how you do it.
You will get positioned as a demo man in one way or another.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go back to the chat a little bit.
Go back to the chat.
Oh, boy.
That was the quickest middle section of letters, but yeah. Brian writes, what are the odds of getting the History of Sentinel Comics book in 2025? I think the odds are certainly better than they were 2 months ago. If you'd asked me 2 months ago, I'd be like, woof, we're going to try to get out in 2025. Now I'm like, I actually just had a meeting with Ray yesterday about like, hey, where are we on the timeline? Because a significant stumbling block of that book is creating the big timeline that goes in the back of that book. And the good news is that Daryl and Ray have already been working on it. So that's comforting. I have a quote. The reason I'm looking over here is on my whiteboard that's on this wall. I have a quote that I wrote in October of 2021. I dated it October 7th, 2021 at 11:42 a.m. Daryl, because he said this, I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. Daryl said, it, and I put in brackets here, meaning the Sentinels of the Multiverse timeline in the back of the History of Sentinel comics book, won't be a very large size at all. And I'm like, just going to write that down on my whiteboard? for future purposes.
All right.
But I intend to have that book out before the end of the year, and I think that is a reasonable intention and expectation.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the state of it, having just like gone through it with you, that's yeah.
There's still a bunch of work to do,
There's
but
a
it
lot
is
of stuff,
like
but, yeah.
it is a bunch of work like this. There's like this is the bunch of work that needs to be done. Not there's a bunch of work to do. Blech.
Right.
So
yeah. Maurice Linden writes, wait a minute. I love things starting with that. If the visitors are canon, then there is time travel in the sandwich bag because they changed the past in the adventure that you played.
Did they?
Yeah, did they actually?
Did they?
I don't feel like we did.
Did they? They saw visions of the past. Well, they saw visions of what they were told was the past, and then they interacted with those visions, and then as a result, the visions of the past changed to be a different thing, and that impacted the event that they were in.
Yeah, I don't feel like we changed the past in that. I did not feel that way.
You definitely impacted the visions of the past.
I thought that we went into like a pocket dimension and dealt with visions there, and like
the question is were those visions the past, or were those visions intended as like parables with outcomes?
I thought they were more like parables with outcomes, and I got the impression that it was sort of like a timeless prison situation, not like we have to go to the past and do and alter things. That's what my impression of it was. But
the book of the visitors certainly would address the story as if it were acting like time travel. But then the equivalent is like, wait, but is this time travel? Is left open, but it's not. The idea is like, nah, it wasn't really time travel. But in the moment, the heroes fighting through it are like, oh, I guess, yeah, right. Brian says, if Zhulong could have anyone as his enforcer, who would it be? Would he stick with the operative or switch her out for Mr. Fixer if he could? Or is there someone else he would take? If he could have anyone as his enforcer, my knee-jerk reaction is, if he could take anyone, he would take Night Mist.
Oh, yeah, that's as enforcer, or like
because it shows like this person is my enforcer. They're under my sway. They are my thrall. Look who I have as my thrall. Because the other person that I thought about is like Legacy, or even worse, Young Legacy. Yeah, there you go, Young Legacy. Yeah, she works for me. But Night Mist is better because she does magic. The other option, Argent Adept. The Virtuoso of the Void is my enforcer.
Yeah, I don't really think of him as someone who's like I specifically prize specific people as underlings. It's more like everyone has their purpose on this chessboard. Right.
Yeah,
and like
I agree with that. But this is why it's like him saying, "Oh, I have the chess pieces of Young Legacy or Night Mist or the Virtuoso of the Void himself." Like those are.
Yeah, but I don't think any one of them necessarily has more value than another. Like a pawn has just as much value as a queen in some instances. Like
it's very situational, but yes. So it's not that I think he would switch out Mr. Fixer. I think he'd rather have Operative and Mr. Fixer.
Yeah.
And Night Mist and Young Legacy and Argent Adept. Like he wants as many pieces as he can, but he's not sitting around going, "Oh, I wish I could have these ones that I don't have." No. Very happy to have the ones he has.
Yeah.
Project Shattered response says, if it were me, I'd take OblivAeon as enforcer, but I'd settle for Progeny.
Yeah.
The problem is Progeny doesn't have a cool looking head. So like you don't want that.
Oh my God. It's the coolest though. All right. Blah the Sadri writes, has Pete Risk ever played the lottery? Did he maybe do so for many years, always with the same numbers before finally quitting, and then the numbers he'd been choosing all along were finally drawn? Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And he's like, guys, I bought another lottery ticket, and you know me, it's 2, 3, 7, 15, 26, 5.
Yeah, if I knew you were doing that, the moment that he didn't, I would buy that ticket.
Yeah, right? And that's what happens is he goes like, and he's like, I've given up. I'm not doing it anymore. And Harpy just busts out the door. It's like just running. And it's like, what? And she's like, I was too late. And he's like, what? And she's like, I got a picture on my phone. Your number's 1. I was going to go buy a ticket. Why didn't you tell me you stopped playing? I've been waiting. Adam, can you say a Stanley Excelsior?
Excelsior.
Great. Stupidiot writes, in the latest episode of the podcast, let me be more clear. Stupidiot #1 Fangrove writes, in the latest episode of the podcast, we saw what was, by my count, the first time Mangrove has ever recorded to be capable of speech, reciting a grand total of 3 words. Also, mangrove in a writer's room! Wah! How much speech is mangrove capable of? Is this improved as it becomes more sapient in the Vertex timeline? Is it limited to only English? I'm going to pause real quick here because the message from Stupidity goes on, but let's talk about this. Mangrove can say words. Like speak is conversing with mangrove is not going to go super well, but mangrove can utter words in an attempt to be understood. Mangrove is capable of complex thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, thinking about the history, like how many years mangrove is around.
Yep.
That there's probably different depictions.
Oh yeah, I think that early on mangrove definitely talks, and then slowly mangrove becomes the thing that doesn't talk. The thing I think
the first mangrove doesn't talk at all, and then there's one that talks, and there's one that's just monosyllabic, and then there's it's kind of all over the place. It's
all the same mangrove. I think the thing that happens, the thing that gets kind of landed on, is that mangrove is living is existing at the speed of plants. And so it's not that mangrove isn't capable of a complex thought or even producing speech, but is says a word and is like, there you go. What, you need more? Yeah, let me spin up some more. Hold on. Yeah. Imagine, Stupidity continues, if you will, the great ambuscade hears of a new kind of beast, not an animal, not even a man, to hunt in the Rook City marsh. He plows through the swamps, cutting through vine and thicket, when he steps forward into a wallow of mud and finds it much deeper than it seems. First, his right foot becomes stuck, then his left, and then he begins sinking further and further, down to his knees, down to his waist. He utters frantic curses in French. Adam, if you could do some Foley for us here.
I don't know how to go. Merde.
Perfect. And suddenly, a mass of vines, that didn't sound very frantic, but it's fine. You can phone it in.
Merde.
Suddenly, a mass of vines to his left curses fluent French right back at him before picking him up out of the mud and throwing him at a tree. Jokes aside, is mangrove capable of any magical languages in any capacity or any other kind of earthly communication? Because could it communicate with Akashtria or Buddha on a more eldritch spiritual level? Stupidity, you're excited. I can see that. I'm so glad. Now, you do know that, since we did the Bloodless Wraith and Haunted Fanatic and Mangrove is in that story, you can write follow-up letters for that. We'll be talking about that in episode 308. But we'll happy to talk about this now. I don't think a bunch of vines to the left of Ambuscade could talk. I think that Mangrove has to talk out of his face.
Right, yeah.
I don't think he can talk out of any of his vines that he makes.
To more actually answer your question, I think that I was thinking before you even read this part that it would be interesting if there were Argent Adept issues where he's I communicate kind of musically through the natural music of nature, and that has a sort of groaning and creaking, and they have they're able to communicate through that.
Right. That certainly can happen. I definitely think that Akashtria / Akash Buddha could talk at the speed of plants through plants to back and forth with Mangrove. And we know that Night Mist has a number of interactions with Mangrove as well.
Maybe communicating empathically.
Plant-pathically.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Bart K.N.Y.F. writes, the event card for Thrown to the Wolves in Apex's deck mostly describes the setup, Apex collecting a bunch of werewolf pack leaders into an alliance, and then a fight against that alliance involving Night Mist and Alpha. Did Apex assume this whole alliance... Assemble? Yep. Did Apex assemble this whole alliance just to pick a fight with Alpha? If not, what's his actual goal here? That Alpha, Night Mist, and allies are trying to stop. But if so, does anyone jab at his ego for not being able to fight to just fight her one-on-one?
So no, he doesn't actually build this whole alliance just to pick a fight with Alpha. He builds this whole alliance because he's like, hey, if I can take all of the disparate, just regular disparate, not disparate,
right.
Packs of werewolves all over the place that are just little isolated packs that aren't organized and aren't ambitious. If I could organize them all into a massive wolf army, I could take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves versus humans? I mean, and you see some arts of that where the wolves go to take the city and stuff like that. That's not what werewolves normally do. They stay to themselves. They hang out in nature. They hide out in caves. Caves are sweet. And that's the werewolf stuff.
Yeah.
And Apex is but instead, what if werewolf capitalism?
Right.
And they're yeah. And Alpha's like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like let's be werewolves in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, werewolves in public. Maritz, right?
They have Chinese menu in their hand. That's all they actually wanted is to go get Chinese.
Yeah. Maurice Linden writes, so Chrono Ranger doesn't interact with other heroes that much. Are there heroes that he's never encountered in the multiverse era, or at least not their Universe 1 versions?
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I'm sure.
I'm sure there are. Yeah,
I'm sure there's at least 3 heroes that he's never encountered.
I don't want to tell you who those are because I don't want to close off any potential stories.
Myself.
And also,
I'm wondering if I can give you one.
I don't want to lock anything in. I really don't.
I know, right?
That. Yeah.
Yep. Chrono Ranger never interacts with,
because also I'm sure that we'll say something and then someone will be like, excuse me, actually you've said, like,
yeah, I'm gonna throw one out there, and then if it in the fulmination of time it turns out that I'm wrong, so be it. You heard it here first. I'm probably wrong about this, but if I had to Hail Mary one of them, I'd say kind of a safe bet, Lifeline.
I don't think that's that safe a bet.
It's no, there are no safe bets in this thing.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to do a super. I was like, okay, I'll throw out Chrono Ranger never interacts with Lifeline until you're like, oh, remember that one time like 2 months ago when you said he does? I'm like, oh, well, see, I was wrong.
Yeah, I would be very unsurprised if that proves false.
Yeah, well, look, man, we're gonna have Chrono Ranger Lifeline team ups as the only submission for topic submission next month. Yep. We're just gonna get 30 submissions of that. And I was like, oh, well,
yep.
And we'll put it up for voting. It'll get 180 votes.
Yep. Project Shadow 115 writes, not a question, feel free to ignore. Okay, bye.
Okay, great.
But I found an anime with a peak example of a cool flying head. See the first episode of Undead Unluck, with all the free time you have to do so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I told you. Cool flying
Oddball
head.
Paladin says, so Disparation update? It's coming. Things are behind. But yeah, I got I'm just head down trying to get work done. Mm-hmm. And then the amount of, the trick is in the fall semester, the fall time of the second half of the year, where I have so many conventions and I'm on the road so much, it is very challenging to get a lot of momentum in getting work done and then getting updates out and things. And then when I put update out, people are like, give us more information. I'm like, yep, I just got to get you, I got to have more information until I can get stuff out there. Anyway, it's coming.
Yeah.
Such is life.
I'm officially done.
You are? Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I did a couple alterations to some things and updated them in the drive, but
Yep. But as of last week, you are 100% done with Disparation.
Yep. Stupidiot, number 1 Fangrove writes, since you said in the Santa Scholar episode that we wouldn't get the name of the next expansion until Disparation releases, does that mean we won't get the Disparation rulebook before release?
No, you will.
You'll get it when you see that, probably, I guess.
Well, no, because I'll just leave the last page off.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I have the ability to do this. Princess Wombat of Stuntland says, does Chrono Ranger interact with Stuntman? I bet that'd be a cool interaction.
I feel like yes. Like that's Chrono Ranger is there at the inception of Stuntman.
Yeah. I don't know that there's time for Chrono Ranger and Stuntman to interact before OblivAeon, actually. Because then Chrono Ranger is gone for a bit, then does Best of Time stuff with La Commodora. Stuntman might be a good bet. I'm not going to say obviously,
maybe.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Because especially with OblivAeon going like, well, yeah, kind of everything just gets shaken up right here, and a bunch of people interact that don't usually interact, and like we don't know. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go back to letters. Thank you so much, chat.
Thank you, chat.
Yeah. I've got a letter from Leo Melanson, a.k.a. Level Up Leo, who writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, since Editor's Note 87 comes out close to my birthday, I'm going to allow myself to write a letter I've wanted to for a bit that doesn't quite fit anywhere. This is my plea to the community that Plague Rat needs a writer's room. He's the only full deck character I can think of from Definitive Edition without one, and he's one of the few characters with a deck from Enhanced Edition that doesn't have a writer's room. Interesting. There's no Plague Rat writer's room? We've never done a Plague Rat story?
I don't think
on
we
a
have.
writer's room?
No, I don't think we have.
Huh.
We did.
I mean, obviously we haven't. I believe Level Up Leo.
We did the I don't know, maybe we didn't do that either. I was going to say we did the Dr. Toxica story that ended up being an event, but no, we just did that story.
No, we just did that. You and I just did that one, and then
Yeah.
it's gotten into the voting a couple times, and it's never made it into an episode.
Yeah.
By the way, other characters from Enhanced Edition that would need writers' rooms include Sergeant Steele. We've had some block stories, but never a Sergeant Steele-based plot that I can think of off the top of my head.
Mhm.
The Dreamer, probably harder to do since it's a one event,
Yeah.
but we could, there's issues in there we could do, yeah. Infinitor, despite Captain Cosmic getting multiple episodes, none of them have included his brother. Rude. Bugbear, little is known about this guy. Also true. Maybe Karga Warfang, though we've had multiple stories in the Colosseum.
Bugbear has been in voting a number of times, and
Yeah.
it seems like people just don't care.
And a few of these have been into voting, but this
Yeah.
is, I think this is a great plea from Level Up Leo,
Yeah.
not necessarily to us, but to people who are submitting
Yeah.
and voting on
Submitting
things.
and voting. Yeah.
In a time where characters like Death Fiend, Necrosis, Adhesivus, and Night Snake all have had Writer's Room episodes lately, it feels like a character that's been around as long as Plague Rat deserves his time to shine as well. Thank you, Level Up Leo. Level Up Leo, you raise an excellent point. I agree with everything you said here.
Yeah.
And the list you made, very good.
Yeah.
We need Plague Rat, Sergeant Steele, The Dreamer, Infinitor, Bugbear, Karga Warfang. Yeah, get him in there.
Yeah. I mean, I would hesitate to say the Dreamer the most because like we do know 100% of the Dreamer comics.
Right, but we've never like told an issue of the various Dreamer stuff.
No, but we have told like the entirety of the event, and I don't know how much an issue is going to make a difference in terms of like, so that's come up a number of times where it's like, well, yeah, we've kind of just like really gone in depth with that stuff. And it's a 90s crossover. So like there's not a whole lot of deviation per issue. So anyway, I have a letter from number one Hippo fan who writes, Adam and Christopher, sorry for yelling your names, but I'm so pumped right now. Way back in Ed's note, number 75, I asked you, was there ever a Hippo story where he wasn't a loser? And you were like, yes, but he still loses. And the answer was underwhelming.
I'm going to pause you right there.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Where
Where there's an issue, he wasn't a loser, and we're like, yeah, but he still loses in that issue.
the Christmas one?
No,
Or no, what?
the Progeny one.
The Progeny one. Oh,
Do you remember
yeah, no, he was awesome in that.
Right, he still
Yeah.
loses.
Yeah, he still loses, but he was awesome in it.
This is what this letter's talking about. Carry on.
Yeah. But now you totally get it. You told the true story of how Hippo beat Progeny's whole face off and was a total bad butt. And, oh, geez, I'm crying a little. Hang on. Okay, I'm good, but my keyboard got wet. Anyway, it was awesome. And Adam, you're the best for telling that just like it happened. No questions, no notes. All right. Thank you, number one Hippo fan.
This last section of letters that we're into here is mostly about how great we are,
okay.
and so that's one example.
I
Here's
love
another
that.
one.
Yeah,
The Heather Hornist writes, Christopher Paul and the Sentinel Comics podcast universe community.
Okay.
I don't know why you're not included.
I don't know why either.
In the letters.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine over here. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Adam, I'm trying to read this letter from the Heather Hornist. Can you?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Here, I'll just. There we go. I found myself needing to explain what I meant by icing up the whole rat today. I was completely delighted to find that Urban Dictionary has an entry for this. Thanks, Nimbus. Nimbus is apparently the person who made the Urban Dictionary.
I can't start my video back up.
You can't?
No.
What?
It says. Wow.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I just got it said host has stopped your video, and then it's
Oh, that makes sense. So if you're like, because I did, but if I stop somebody's video because like there's a big call and somebody's doing abusive stuff or whatever,
yeah,
you don't want them to be able to just come right back in again.
right. Obviously, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so this is the important part of the letter. I cited that link in a footnote, thereby achieving full legitimacy for my use of this term. The Urban Dictionary entry completely solved the problem for me. It iced up the whole rat, as it were. Just wanted to say how much I appreciate this community and the joy of discovering little details like this. Appreciatively, the Heather Hornist. So this means that Iced Up the Whole Rat has been used in some sort of publication or writing of some sort that included an attribution in the footnote. Adam.
I'm looking at the thing right now.
We're making it. We're getting.
I don't think that you need. I think that anyone can put something on Urban Dictionary.
Well, of course, yes. Nimbus did. That's what I'm saying. But like these little steps here, little steps like this.
Yeah. This is how we take over. Yeah.
Right.
This is it. I'm looking at the entry right now. Iced Up the Whole Rat. A catch catch-all phrase created by the Letters Page podcast to describe a situation that usually involves overkill. Some ways this phrase can be used include completely solving a problem, stalling or procrastinating something for a long period of time, creating a large problem or challenge, literally completely covering something or someone in ice. Oh, and then examples of that. Yeah, nice. All right.
Yeah. You ready to read your last letter of the day, Adam?
Yeah, my last letter of the day comes from the Heroic Shrimp, who writes, Dear Adam and Christopher, and dearest Trevor, I just want to take a moment to tell you how the three of you have ruined other podcasts for me. The sound quality and editing are out of this world, and I'm always unpleasantly surprised when other podcasts get interrupted with ads. No real questions other than, how are you so amazing? Thanks for taking the time to read this, the Heroic Shrimp.
The answer to your question.
That's a good time to talk about my favorite mobile game, Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, no!
With over 400 heroes.
Stop it. The answer to the question, how are you so amazing, is Trevor.
That is how, yes.
The smartest things we did was somehow become friends with Trevor and mention to him that we really wanted to at some point do a podcast, but not so really that we were willing to do any work towards making it happen. Yeah. And then he goes, all right, we're doing it. Okay, are you guys ready to record? We're like, wait, what? No, wait. And then we got some episodes in the bag and we made them happen and we got bettered over time and Trevor makes it happen. The only other thing that you can attribute to the two of us is going, no, we're not doing ads. Like when Libsyn started noticing that we were getting numbers, and they were like, you should do ads, and we did that ad survey a long time ago. We were like, you're probably right. We should do something, but we don't want to do it. Yeah. And then we just did the Patreon thing instead, and it's great. And we just don't have ads other than for Adam. I've been trying this new. Every time I try to play a game on my phone, I found it so uninteresting. I wish there was some solution.
Right. Do you wish you had 400 unique heroes, each with their own attributes?
Have you played this game that you always talk about?
God, no. No one's played Raid Shadow Legends.
I was wondering if you ever had. Like, I don't even know what kind of game it's supposed to be. Is it just like a gotcha thing?
It's just like one of those standard RPG things. It's like, yeah, you get the
I like
characters.
RPGs.
I mean, well, you know the little turn-based 5-character RPGs that like they put out on mobiles. It's just
I've never played one, is what I'm saying. I've never played.
Oh, okay.
A Raid Shadow
Marvel one. I played a DC one.
I've never played a Raid Shadow Legends like.
Yeah. Okay. There's a Star Wars one that was out for a while. There's there's a Ninja Turtles one. Like they just put these out because they're easy to put out.
And you like play through a story?
So like there's a story, but then there's also like a grind aspect to it, and like you get character fragments. So it'll take like 50 character fragments to recruit a character, and then you have to get more to level them up, and like
it's not okay. All right, okay. I got my last letter of the day, and then we go to emails. So it's not even actually my last letter of the day.
Yeah, then I'm really tired. I'm gonna go take a nap on my Casper mattress.
Last letter is from Tillin, who writes, Dear Christopher, Adam, Trevor, and all the Greater Than Games staff. Do you have any idea what you've done? Yes, and it wasn't us. You can't prove it.
You can't. Yeah, allegedly what we've done.
Yeah. The hours of enjoyment, stress, and good times that have happened because of your work. Wait, hold on. Enjoyment and good times sound good. But what was that middle one?
Where's the stress come from?
My own personal time put into creating my decks and playtesting them and then reworking at least 10 of the 20 I made, converting them into Definitive Edition. The joy of finding out that I was right, that Alpha and then Darkstrife and Painstake were, in fact, going to have a playable deck. Who could say?
Yeah. Were you right about that?
Everyone from the creative team to the warehouse staff deserves great praise. Every week, I'm grateful for the content you make. I've been a fan of Sentinels for a long time, and it's honestly one of my most favorite games to play with people.
Thank you.
Anyway, all this praise aside, on to my actual question, of which I don't actually have one. I just wanted to send this in, getting over my anxiety of not having anything to ask, as any questions I do have are fun little theories on what's coming next for the card game, or sitting back and enjoying the lies told each week. Seriously, as a longtime listener, keep up the fantastic work. Sincerely, Tillin. Thank you very much, Tillin.
Thank you.
We do it.
Very nice letter.
We do it for you.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, before I go to the emails that I have, Brian in the chat said, speaking of ads, I'll give you $5 to do an ad read about how I'm great. No, Brian, we refuse your $5. We do not want your $5. You keep your $5.
No.
Adam, Brian is great.
Brian is great, yeah.
Brian is great. Brian is responsible for some of the funniest, some of the harshest, some of the most emotional moments in the history of the episodes of the letters page. Brian has been an awesome person to interact with at Gen Con, bringing Cult of Gloom cloaks and business cards.
It's true.
Brian posts very cool miniature paintings that he does in the Discord, and they look awesome, and it's great to see them because I am not going to do that, right? But there's a part of me that's like, oh, but I could do that. Like, but I'm not going to do that. I just can't do it. And so I can look at the Discord and I'm like, oh, yeah, Brian's doing it, and then I don't have to.
Yeah.
So
right. No, Brian is great.
Brian
and
is
if you'd
great.
like to get 10% off of Brian, use promo code letters.
Oh my, Fantasma, you have so many Sentinels memes.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah.
Brian, Fantasma, why do you have all of these are anti-mox? Yeah, no, those are anti-mox. Okay, right, emails. I do it.
Yeah.
Emails. Adam, I have an email, and I have to apologize.
Okay.
I have messed this up twice.
You messed it up twice?
I messed it up twice.
Okay.
This email was sent in right before the live editor's note recording in November, and I just didn't. Because it was right before it, I just totally spaced it. And then December came around, and I had intended to use this for December, and I spaced it a second time. But we're in January, and I'm doing it now.
Okay, do it.
Third time's a charm. Kyrie writes, I can't believe I almost missed the editor's note. You did, and it's not your fault. It's my fault. I hope I'm not too late with Vizyarnary.
Oh, you sent him in. Oh, you put him in here?
I'm going to Vizyarnary.
Oh, my God. Yeah, look at her.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Craftian Cosmic.
Craftian Cosmic.
You love it.
There it is. Oh, my God. Yeah, look at him. Oh, I love that one.
The mustache is good. The Darngent Adept.
The Darngent Adept. Oh, my God.
Nope. Messed it up.
That's wrong one, but.
Darngent
There it
Adept.
is. There we go. Yeah.
And Weave.
Yeah. Weave.
Weave instead of Writhe.
It's Writhe. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to pun those single syllable names.
The email continues. These names sure are getting to be a stretch, aren't they?
Yeah.
And, I've heard worse puns on the podcast. Fair.
That's true.
Congratulations on 300 episodes. Thanks for letting me be a part of it in some small way. Here's to more than 300 more. More than 300 more?
More than 300.
Kyrie Wynne, thank you so much for your email. I got it, and I loved seeing it, and I was excited to share it with people, and then I spaced it twice because of work travel and being a big idiot. But thank you so much. We will treasure these. And if I'm not a big idiot next week, Adam, I'll put these in the show notes.
Great.
Yeah. Pretty good. Excellent. So yeah, you got the Yarniverse email. Fantastic.
Okay. Well, that's great. You realize we're almost 10% to the next 100.
Adam.
Stuff moves fast around here.
I have an email.
Yeah. You have another email?
Yeah. From Rakan Abu Rama.
Okay.
Who writes, hello, Christopher and Adam. I started listening to the letters page about mid-July 2024, and I'm all the way into the year 2020. Editor's note number 39 is my next episode. I still have a long way to go. Adam's about to have his second kid, and while I was listening to the letters page while walking or running, I was thinking, that kid is 4 years old now?
About to turn 5. Yep.
Anyways, I'm following the subreddit of Sentinels, and I see you both did Editor's note number 86. My goal is to catch up before Gen Con 2025. Let's see if I make it. Keep on being awesome. Rock of Fire.
All right. Yeah.
Dear listeners, thank you so much for writing in letters and being awesome. Do note, we do have a submission form that you can support your forms instead of emailing me, but you could submit messages there. Though, Kyrie Wynne, keep on emailing me because those I need those yarn picture attachments.
Yeah, I love those. They're very cool.
Yeah,
yep.
Keep up the emails. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
All right. Next week.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, January 28th is going to be episode 307.
Is it a good one, Adam?
Creative Process Distant Future Limited Series. Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We've put it off long enough.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one. I'm very excited about it.
We've done it again, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
We've recorded yet another episode of the Letters page. This one in an editor's note. And I can tell you right now, this one's going to need an editor.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Good thing we have one.
Yeah, real good thing.
A great one.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Just the best.
Just the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, listeners. Thank you so much. Special thank you goes out to Walking Target, as always, for the hard work on all of the writing up of the nonsense things we say and keeping track of the things we say.
Mm-hmm.
Special thank you goes to Elizabeth for letting us tease her about Night Mist and being part of many jokes in the Discord. And special thank you to Brian for being fantastic. Special thank you to Fantasma for bowling and memes. Who else is in? Special thank you to IRL Wraith.
Especially thank you to Dr. B for providing me medical care at the end of my life.
That's right. Dr. B is going to be there to ask OblivAeon questions on your deathbed. Yeah. And everyone else in chat, Worm Superior, we're at Rick Steelskin, Princess Wombat of Stuntland, everybody. Product Shadow 115, if that is your real name.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll catch you in the future.
Bye.
The Letters Page is a weekly podcast featuring fiction from the world of Sentinel Comics, written by me, Christopher Bedell,
and illustrated by me, Adam Repertaro. We're also your hosts.
The music that you hear was composed by me, Jean-Marc Giffen, and is used courtesy of Handelabra Games.
The song, Christopher and Adam Reading Letters to You, was written and performed by Christopher's brother, Anthony Bedell. The show is edited and produced by me, Trevor Casterline. Thanks for listening and supporting the multiverse.
To you, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters from you. Let them read them at you. Let them read them at you. Oh, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam.
Stop reading chat. Read the question.
No, the chat's so funny.
That's fine. But stop reading chat. We're recording a podcast right now.
Yeah, Trevor will edit it out later.
Oh my God.